After 4 years away, Lorde has returned with new music Solar Power, but before I get to that, I had just finished filming a video not 30 minutes before she dropped this single, and in that video I said, hey guys, this is the final one that I'm filming with this setup before I move. And what do you know, Lorde finally returns. All it takes is me saying that I'm gonna move and I'm about to tear down my set, and she says, you know what, hold that thought, I'm gonna put out a new single, and that's that. Hey neighbor, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John, and Lorde, the New Zealand singer, songwriter, artist extraordinaire, is back with her latest single after a 4-year gap where she traveled the likes of Antarctica and other southern parts of the hemisphere. It's called Solar Power, and this new album that's just around the corner, hopefully, is going to be much more nature-themed, and I appreciate that. I think that Lorde has gained a lot of perspective, and if you happen to be new to my channel, you've never heard me talk about Lorde before in detail, well, she's one of the first artists ever that I've given a 5 out of 5 to their first 2 albums. That's pure heroin and melodrama. Both of those are works of art that were just leaps and bounds ahead of what other artists, especially her age, were doing, and just artists in general, not to box her in like that. I think she's incredible. I think her voice, her overall imagery, her artistry, the lyricism, how poetic it can feel. It can be haunting and dark, but occasionally upbeat, as we saw with the lead single Green Light from her last album. Now, not everything that Lorde has put out, I've just on first listen been like, this is it. This is the best thing that she has ever done, and Green Light was one of those tracks. I felt a little bit thrown off by how poppy it was at first, but once that chorus started to build, we got the pre-chorus, and then finally everything just drives it home, it felt like summer freedom. And with the way she was teasing this new song, Solar Power, I was hoping for exactly that on this one, round 2. Lorde has never struck me as the type of artist that just wants to repeat herself, stir the pot and just do the same thing over, and I don't think that she's made another clone here. In fact, quite the opposite. Alongside her producer Jack Antonoff and also backing vocals from Clairo and Phoebe Bridgers, we have a very chill, tropical vibe that's trying to be very relaxed with the slow build, and for the first time, I think ever, after a decent amount of listens, I'm talking like 10, I can confidently say that I'm not really a huge fan of this song. God, I hate it when that happens. I really didn't want it to be like that. I love her first 2 albums, like every song so much, even the EPs, the live stuff. I just am such a massive fan for Lorde, and I wanted the queen to return and it be something that I felt fire in my soul for. But instead, I'm left wanting more with a track that kind of feels like it could be in rotation at H&M while you shop at the mall. Before we go any further, first of all, of course, this is all just my opinion, you guys know that, but 2, I recorded a reaction because with her having been gone for so long, I thought that I would have a lot to say even in the moment. But I'll cut to it real quick. I didn't have a ton to say, so a few brief highlights or lowlights, whatever you want to call it. Please, Lorde, let it be amazing.
I hate the winter, can't stand the cold. I'm kinda like a prettier Jesus. My cheeks in hot color, overripe peaches. No shirt, no shoes, only my features.
Is this ever gonna like break out?
Blink 3 times when you feel it kicking in that slow.
Huh. That was super underwhelming. Okay, that's initial reaction, right? This is track review time. This is after I've sat with the song more, after I've watched the music video, after I've picked up on some of the cues in the lyrics, and I see that this is about embracing summer and coming out of a winter depression. It's something where I see Lorde kind of taking influence and inspiration from the freedom of something like Green Light, but doing it and setting it to more of a low-key, subdued mood. And as I said, this song does take a while to really kick it into gear, and even once it does, I don't know if it fully gets there. I appreciate some of the ideas that she had. It does feel very open, very summery, and I think for a certain mood, it might kind of quench that thirst that you've been having, and obviously, if you've been looking for more Lorde in your life, this is going to do it, at least for now, but I'm already needing another hit. I want another single, and with Liability and Green Light, the first 2 songs that we got off of Melodrama being so drastically different from each other, I'm really hoping that Ella O'Connor has has something else up her sleeve? There's always the full album, and I'll be the first to walk back my words if this somehow magically fits into the scope and I end up loving it more in that context. But as a standalone single, I feel like the minimalism on this track, the stuff that she's used in the past with more of an electronic persuasion on albums like Pure Heroine, that always worked in her favor and it made us focus on the lyrics. And this song is quite repetitive, and it's not that it doesn't have anything to say, it's just that that feeling of freedom quickly fades away as you're slowly left wanting something more. Vocally, Lorde sounds totally fine. She's in her element. I don't think it's one of her best performances, definitely not in the top half of them even, but at the same time, I don't think it's bad. I do have a little pet peeve with the kind of vocal pitch right at the end. It just kind of felt out of nowhere and sudden, and then the song goes out with that serving as the outro. It's the final memory in our head, but overall I don't think it undoes everything that the song did achieve. It has a slow burning feel where they add in everything from a marimba, the guitar, and also everything from some bongos I believe I hear in the background, a saxophone, and of course we've got the trumpet going, and it's just something that I feel is a bit sterile, a little bit generic. It sounds like I've heard this before from somebody else, and with her having been gone for so long, I was looking for fire in the veins. Not necessarily something that had to be sad, but I was hoping maybe she'd be collecting names, coming for the throat, something? I really hope it grows on me. It did a little bit. I mean, the first time I heard it, I was just kind of taken back thinking, am I missing something? Is this headed in a different direction? Will something just really break out and we have that moment? And that's not to say that every song needs to have that fast burning dynamite switch that just goes off, because obviously with this being Lorde, I appreciate so many of her slow songs. In fact, I often prefer them. But here, I think as a lead single to supercharge us with solar power, to come back and make a statement that everybody's gonna care about, this feels more like something that would fade from the memory rather quickly. But it's a name as big as Lorde, so I don't think it really will. I'm just hoping that we get something a little bit more artistic on the next one. Personally, Solar Power really did disappoint me. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just weak by Lorde standards, who has not really missed, and I mean that up to this point. I don't think this is a total whiff, a total swing and miss, but still, only a partial connection doesn't leave me feeling totally tethered to her world. I think the music video looked great. I think that I'm very excited that Lorde is back as an artist. I think that she is incredible at what she does, as I've said before, and I'm hoping that the album reveals something a little bit more, but you can probably hear me beating around the bush here. The disappointment is in my eyes. I feel it in my heart as well. I'm gonna give this a light 3, maybe even a strong 2.5 out of 5. I rank partially based on what I think the artist is capable of, and Solar Power definitely does not flex all of her creative strengths. I'm all for an artist having fun with a song, and I do think that her and the collaborators had a good time making this. There is that kind of energy in it, but I don't see this being a staple in her catalog, or even for my summer rotation, oddly enough. I didn't even save the song to Spotify, and that is blowing my mind in a bad way. Anyways, if you want to see me talk more positively about Lorde, then check these cards on screen, socials in the description, and I'll be back soon with more on Beyond ARTV, and this is the last video in the studio, I think.